Hey folks, welcome back. Today we're going to have a little bit of a different kind of a video. I thought I'd do one on sort of 5 tips that can help you if you're just getting started out. We'll talk about some things that you probably want to hear about and maybe a couple that you don't want to hear about. So let's start off with what I think is probably the number one thing that I would tell somebody that's just starting to play the ukulele. People will talk about, well, what kind of strings do you have? What size of instrument? Blah, 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 all that stuff. All great stuff. But this one, if you skip past this step, you're never going to get a good sound and you're just going to be frustrated. Okay, are you ready? Big drum roll here is clip your nails. Okay, get yourself one of these, keep it close by your ukulele. Put it in your case, whatever. Keep it on your music stand, because if you don't clip your nails, you are not going to get a good sound. It's just a cold, hard fact. So I'm going to just smack you with that one right out of the gate. Okay. Here's a way to tell if your nails are too long. What I do is I just take my hand like that and make like the OK sign. And if I push like that into my thumb and I can feel fingernail first, then I know that my nails are too long. Okay, you can do that with each one of your fingers, even right down to your pinky finger. Okay, you don't have to get it so that you're hurting yourself or anything like that, but you do have to get your nails short. If you don't want to do that, then honestly, I hate to say it, but you may as well shut the video off now, sell your ukulele and get yourself an accordion or something, because that's just not going to help you. Okay, and the reason is that you need to be able to arch your fingers up like this. Okay, if they're laying down more like this because your fingernails are too long and you can't get them arched up enough, you're not going to get a good sound again. Because what happens is your fingers lay down and then they start to impact the other strings. They start to lay down over top of the other strings, and you can't push hard enough to get a good sound on this string because your nail is in the way. Then it hits the next string. Okay, see where I'm going with this? So clip your nails. Otherwise, it's like, I don't know, saying that you want to learn how to swim, but you don't want to get your hair wet because it wrecks your hair. I know a lot of people, ladies, like to paint their nails, whatever. You can still do that. This hand doesn't matter. You can leave them nice and long. And a lot of players, men and women, leave their fingernails intentionally long to use as basically finger picks. Okay? So this hand, giddy up. Do what you like. But this hand, got to be clipped. Okay, number 2. Your fingers. At the beginning, there's no way to sugarcoat this. It's going to kind of be uncomfortable a little bit on the ends of your fingers. It's going to hurt. Okay, there's no other way to put that. So don't worry about that. If it hurts a little bit, that's normal. And it's going to go away. That's the good news. After a while, you'll be able to play for whatever, an hour, 2 hours, whatever, and it's not going to bother you. You're going to build up a tolerance to it. You'll get like these little calluses right on the end of your fingers. They're not ugly or anything, so don't worry about it. Again, I don't know if you can see that on my fingers or not, but it's not like they're, all hideous and deformed or anything, and I play a lot. So it will go away, but you got to get past that point, okay? And what I would suggest are a couple things to help you with that, because obviously if you can avoid it a bit, it's great. One tip would be to only play 15, 20 minutes and then put the instrument down. Don't overdo it, particularly at the beginning. And then pick it up again maybe an hour or so later, play again for another 15 minutes or so. So break up your sessions and maybe keep them a little bit shorter in order to give your fingers a little bit of a chance to recover, okay? The other thing is to check the action on your instrument. And by action, I mean how high the strings are off of the fretboard. Because if they're really high, if the instrument isn't set up well, then you're pushing a lot more. You really have to push the string down a greater distance and it makes it tougher for you. A quick way to check this is to take a business card, and business cards are different thicknesses, etc. But it'll give you an idea. You slide it in between the string and the fret, okay? And if the business card fits in there, and it kind of rubs against the string and rubs against the fret, or at least if it's not slapping around in there, then that's pretty good. If it's really loose, like really, really loose, like you could put 3 business cards in there, then that's too high. If you've got a local shop that does repairs and service on guitars or ukuleles, whatever, take it in and just have them check it for you, because that could help. It'll make it much more pleasant to play. Okay, so basically, what sets that is the slots here in the nut and also the height of your saddle. So if these slots aren't dug down far enough, basically for the string to sit in, then the strings sit up too high. If the saddle is up too high, then again your strings are going to be that kind of a thing, okay, or like that if you're not as way too high up. So get that checked as well if you're really having a hard time with it. Third thing is to suffer the Dorky Songs, okay? So there's all these songs that they're like 2-chord songs, like, whatever. He's got the whole world in his hands, and oh my darling Clementine, whatever. Don't worry about it. Just play them. They're there to help you learn how to play your initial couple of chords, how to switch back and forth, what a clear sound is like, and how you get that clear sound. Again, back to kind of my first point about clipping your nails, but where to put your fingers, etc. These aren't songs that are meant for performance. They're not meant to be played for your friends or whatever. They're just for you, and they're basically just exercises. So while everybody has the goal to play the type of music that they want, or the type of songs, whether it's Beatles songs or whatever it is that you like, set that for your goal, but don't get ahead of yourself too much right at the beginning, okay? Take those initial steps and go through those stages. Spend a week or so, 2 weeks, just playing those 2-chord songs, and then move on. You can add another chord to it. Once you've got 3 chords, you can play thousands of songs, okay? And then you play a bunch of 3-chord songs for a while, and then you work on your strumming, etc., etc. But in the beginning, again, just don't worry that they're not cool songs, okay? They're meant to be used as an exercise, and spend the time on them, because it's a really key, important part of it, okay? Good. The next thing is, I would say for number 4, for the first little while, don't be afraid to not share this, okay? And this might sound funny, but just go in your room, close the door, set your music stand up or your iPad or whatever you're using, and practice your 2-chord songs, 3-chord songs, whatever they are, and keep that goal kind of for yourself, okay? A lot of people will talk about setting goals, and in any area of life, and they say, you set the goal and then you go out and you should tell all your friends about it, because then you'll have that pressure to make it happen, and rah rah rah, and if you don't do it, you got to go back and okay, and there's value to that. I would say that if you're going to tell people about it, or you're going to play in front of somebody, particularly at the beginning, be selective about who you're going to do that with. Make sure that they are supportive people, right? So whatever, play for your husband, play for your wife, as long as you're on good terms. But if you got like that mean older brother that's just going to tell you that you suck and that, whatever, they might be kind of kidding around. But don't discount how that can get into your head, okay? Because when you're doing something new and you're still a little bit, you don't have that confidence quite yet, those funny little remarks can be very damaging, okay? So again, I'm not saying, you got to hide in the closet and just, whatever, but kind of keep it to yourself a little bit. You're doing it for yourself. Okay, make sure that the people that you do tell about it are the supportive people. Okay, because that's important out of the gate. Number 5, I would say, would be get yourself a tuner and use it, because there's nothing worse than instruments that are out of tune and it sounds so awful, and it might not be anything that you're doing wrong. You can have the best chord changing ability, you can have super form and all that kind of stuff, but if your ukulele is out of tune, it's going to sound terrible. There's just no two ways about it. And you're playing with somebody else. If you're playing with a video, whether it's one of the videos that I've got or whoever it is, doesn't matter. It's not going to sound right, and you're going to think, man, why does his sound like that, or why does hers sound like that, and mine just doesn't sound right. Get a tuner, because that's one of the best things you can do. And these aren't expensive. They're like, I don't know, $15 or something. You can buy them. And so you don't have to have a good ear. You don't have to remember My Dog Has Fleas, all that kind of stuff. It just comes on there. I'll just zip it up close here, and it'll show you. Boing, that's it. And it doesn't matter if I'm talking. You can see it's not changing as I'm talking, right? So it's not dependent on sound. These work off of vibration, okay? So they're great. You can be in a room of other people later on if you're playing at a gig, or you're just playing with a bunch of friends in a big song circle or something like that. These are fantastic, okay? Now, if you're on your own, you're in the house, whatever, you can, fire it up on your tablet. They have different apps, and they just work off a microphone, so it'll actually hear the sound, and it'll tell you if you've got the correct setting for your tuners. Okay, those would be sort of it. I'm going to do another video with some 2-chord songs, so if you want to come over and suffer the Dorky Songs with me, please come over, check it out, and I'll help you out, and I'll show you how to get a good sound, etc., and we can start to build those steps towards those 3- and 4-chord songs. Okay, so keep at it. That's the biggest thing. Don't get discouraged, and just have fun, like I always say. Okay, we'll see you on the next video.